Welcome to I'm Your Target Demographic, and today we're explaining the First Amendment, which was an amendment to the Constitution for the United States of America. If you're viewing from outside the United States, the Constitution was created by the Founding Fathers of the United States back in 1787. There have been 27 additional amendments, including logistical processes like how positions are elected, and more lifestyle amendments such as civil rights amendments. Today, specifically, I wanted to look at the First Amendment, but if this is popular, we can dive into other amendments as well. In 1791, we got the first 10 amendments, bundled together as what we call now the Bill of Rights. Let's look at the First Amendment and how it's verbatim written. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, or to petition the government for redress of grievances. There is a lot here. They packed a lot into one single amendment. It's also very slim, making it difficult for modern-day interpreters to understand. What the amendment's actual language is versus what the intent of the amendment was is still debated fiercely. The first clause of the amendment discusses religious freedom, or religious liberty. The government cannot establish a state religion. Now, at the time, the Church of England was very much intertwined in the government, so the colonies fought hard to have this separation, so that they could worship however they liked. There's a second clause in the amendment that says, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The government shall not decide a national religion and cannot prohibit individuals from practicing whatever faith they'd like. An example comes up in the United States often when it comes to school and prayer in school. Public education cannot force students to pray, for example, but it also cannot prohibit their right to if they wanted. The next clause is or abridging the freedom of speech. 6 words, and maybe the most hotly debated in current days. What is freedom of speech? This is typically what people think of first when they consider the First Amendment, as it comes up quite often. This clause means that individuals should not have censorship, interference, or restraint, specifically by the government. The United States government cannot tell them what to say or not to say. This does not mean that private entities or other individuals have to allow it. So we see complications when it comes to businesses firing employees for their speech, for example. If you had something rude or offensive to say to someone, the government won't stop you, but there may still be complications from your employer or from another person that might disagree. Free speech does not mean free from consequences. Remember again the time that these were drafted. People were not able to freely criticize the government or speak their minds, so it was important to the Founding Fathers to do this. The government should not be deciding what you hear or what you say. There are some exceptions to what is covered by this First Amendment. So things like inappropriate images of children, conducting illegal business, and inciting immediate danger, like yelling fire in a crowded theater, is not protected by free speech. Some other contested areas include things like libel and slander, which is often debated in court, and the use of copyrighted material in free speech, so things like fair use. There's also a small clause right here that says, or of the press, which is a continuance of the freedom of speech. This means that the press can report accurately and truthfully without government censorship. This is a clause that could have benefited from some elaboration, with the issue of misinformation and inaccurate reporting being rampant in today's media, no matter your political leanings. It's difficult to say which media is true since there is no restraint or censorship over the press. The last clause here is, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. People are allowed to peaceably protest, in essence. They should be able to tell the government, including elected and appointed officials, what they think and express any grievances they might have. The government cannot prohibit protesting and cannot stop the airing of grievances. There must be a way for the public to express those concerns. Now, this doesn't mean protesting that becomes not peaceably done. So there's often a fine line that, if crossed, results in government action. There can also be process for how this peaceful assembly is done, so it's not uncommon for things known as time, place, and manner rules. You cannot protest in a busy intersection that might put people's jobs in danger if they cannot get to work. You can't protest through a classroom and disrupt a teacher's course because you'd be infringing on someone else's right to get an education. These amendments get tricky when you start to see how they overlap, which is why courtrooms are full every day of cases involving free speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of assembly. It's one person's right to say their truth to a crowd, just as it's someone else's right to show up and protest. Institutions of higher education are often in the spotlight when it comes to these cases, as examples of thousands of people with differing opinions all trying to express themselves. Especially public institutions. They have the role of trying to allow everyone to express their rights, a tightrope act to be sure. And this is the reason why universities have ever-growing legal teams to advise their campus on best practices. So that was the First Amendment, a lot of complicated issues that our founding fathers couldn't have expected. It is brief and superficial, resulting in lawsuit after lawsuit. Hopefully you found this interesting. Let me know your candid thoughts down in the comments, and thanks for watching.